But fuck it, I won't do it this week. You guys don't agree on it.
We can always keep it for another week if we decide.
Hey, here we go. This is Cyclone Podcast, everybody.
Woo! We have a name and we're sticking to it this time.
Hopefully we actually do stick to it. I am Mick.
I'm Wes.
And I am Eric.
Now let's talk about this new name. We got Cyclone, all right, because the name of the studio we're in right now is called The Clone. Mm-hmm. And a cyclone is like, a big twister.
And the prefix "cy" means cool.
Sure.
Does it?
No.
I don't think it does. But I was looking up pictures last night to because we needed a thumbnail image for our SoundCloud account, which will inevitably be our iTunes account. And cyclones from space totally look like polar bear assholes, just big anus. So I think it was like a match made in heaven. This name for us.
A little potential slogan.
Okay.
The Cyclone Podcast. We're ready to shit on your minds with useless information.
I love it. Okay, so this week...
Wait till we get sound effects. Exactly what I was thinking.
This week, Halloween just happened. We sort of touched on that last week a little bit.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm checking this article here, Halloween candy. So some families found razor blades in their kids' candy, police say. 2 incidents were reported around Thorold and St. Catharines in southwest Ontario. Police are asking parents to look at their kids' candy. But this is not a new story, right? This happens every year.
They've been talking about this for years.
And I've done a little bit of research before, and I've seen some TV shows on this before.
It's like an urban myth.
Yeah, it's like
I'm pretty sure this is the first case of it actually happening.
But then again, it's happened before, but it's never been a random instance. It's always been the parents that have put it in the candy.
And that's the thing with almost everything, especially on Halloween. They'll tell you to be safe and careful and this and that. But anytime there's abduction or a kid getting poisoned or their candy tampered with, it's always family related. It's an angry parent or uncle or something.
Yeah,
it's never just a random stranger that does that.
There was one instance I remember watching a show on the History Channel or something, and it was called something along the lines of modern urban legends.
I think it was called Urban Legends. I also watched that show.
Yeah,
I think it's
and they talked.
I believe it's on Netflix now.
And it could have been. And they talked about this exact myth that kids have found razor blades or needles in their candy and all kinds of shit that would hurt them. And the only actually, as of that show, which I saw maybe in the summer, as of that episode, there was only ever one reported instance, or maybe 2, of it actually happening. And in both cases, it was the parents that did it to the kids. It wasn't
fucking shitty parents.
Yeah, what kind of parent would go into their kid's food and knowingly try to harm that kid?
Do you think they were doing it to try and to prove themselves right, to be see, I told you have to watch out, or do you think they're just fucked up?
Why would you want to be right in that situation though? It's
I don't know.
That's
teach your kids
the
a hard
worst
lesson,
case scenario.
Watch out for shitty parents.
Why would you
I'm one
do
of
that
them.
in any situation, even a random stranger? Something has to be mentally wrong with you if you're going to do that. Especially as a parent, if it's your own child, especially, what makes you want to harm your child?
I don't know.
It makes no sense. No person in the right mind would do something like that.
I have no idea, man. I haven't trick-or-treated since I was maybe 13 years old.
Yeah.
But I remember one of the last times I did go, one of the last houses I went to, so I had a big pillowcase filled with candy, whatever, chocolate bars stuff. And the last house I went to, the guy gave us full cans of pop. And I'm like, oh, man, this guy's my fucking hero. I love this guy. So he tosses the can of pop.
It was Diet Pepsi. Worst Halloween ever.
It was Orange Crush.
Oh, nice.
And he threw it in the bag. It's a nice soda. I love that shit. And he really, gave it a fucking fastball into the bag. And it popped as soon as it hit the ground. And there was just sticky soda all over my candy.
Soda?
Everything was pop, whatever. It was all ruined.
You know what it is, though? That's probably the best case scenario with a stranger giving you something sticky. On Halloween. That's probably the best thing that could have happened.
Of all incidents that ever involved a stranger giving something sticky to deal with kids, that is probably the most positive thing ever.
Hey, you make a good point. That's a very good point.
It could have been worse.
And if that's your worst Halloween experience, that's not too bad. I got broccoli once from my house. I swear to God, this guy's sitting out, where's the kid? He's got this bowl of broccoli. He's like, take one. I was like, are you fucking
No
kidding me right now?
thanks.
And he's like, no, I'm dead serious. We're handing out broccoli.
Oh,
so
that's
no one else
funny.
in my friends gave it. I just stared this guy down in his face. I'm like, fine. I took it and I ate it, and I immediately regretted it as soon as I put it in my mouth.
Did you eat it like right in front of
I
him?
ate
or-
it in front of him, yeah, just to try and prove a point, and I immediately regret it.
Wow.
One of my roommates, we were actually talking about this a few weeks ago because we planned on trick or treating in my apartment building, just going around and like fucking
Yeah.
with people.
Yeah.
But he was saying that when he was younger, he grew up in a country somewhere, but then he moved to Windsor, and when he went to Windsor and he started trick or treating, some guy gave him a potato.
Just kind of like, what do you do? Just like put a potato in your hand or in your bag. Like you just look at it. Like, what the hell am I
Yeah.
supposed to do with this?
Like something like that you expect to happen out in the country.
Make
but
your
when-
own chips or something?
When you're in,
Like-
yeah, do it your fucking self.
Give you a bag of chips. Yeah, a little bit, I guess.
Get off your ass, kid. Make it yourself.
It's the most passive aggressive thing you can do
Yeah.
on Halloween. Go make something of yourself. You fuck.
That's the worst gift to like. That's the worst treat to give somebody with like a potato cannon. Though they just shoot it at his fuck you. Give me some chips.
Just leave a little sticky note after you blast the potato back to the guy's like front window. Don't give me a fucking potato next time. Give me the candy.
The only reason that would be
Where's the Snickers?
the only reason that would be appropriate is if your Halloween costume that year was like a chip truck driver, like you had a fry truck.
Like a farmer or something.
Yeah.
What kind of costume is that?
Well, that's
Pepperidge Farmer.
It's a
man.
very,
That's when you
very-
gave me a potato and now I killed your family.
it's a very rare case that would be appropriate. Otherwise, potatoes are shitty.
That's fucked up.
That's weird.
Anything else happened this weekend? I mean, Halloween just happened. It's only Tuesday now, but
I actually just I was talking to a buddy of mine this morning. He was telling me a story. I guess over the course of the weekend, one of his friends, who was a girl, it was her birthday, and they're just friends.
Uh-oh.
Like they,
I see where this is going.
yeah, they're
Hold on.
just friends, and it wasn't like they're not together. They've never been together. Like
So they're
she has a
just
boyfriend.
friends.
They're literally just friends, just really good
Oh,
friends.
is this the story?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And so I guess they've always had these conversations about how like the boyfriend is like really secretive with like watching porn and stuff. Like he
I
doesn't.
tell my fiance to leave the room. I'm going to go fucking watch porn. Like,
okay. So
yeah,
hold on.
So I guess he's just like he likes to keep it to himself, private. There's nothing wrong with that.
So
Nothing wrong
hold
with
on,
keeping
just to
that
clarify,
private.
this is your friend's girlfriend's boyfriend who doesn't like to watch.
A friend
porn.
of mine,
he doesn't like people to know
a friend
he
of
watches
a friend
porn.
of mine's friend who is a girl.
Okay.
And this is her boyfriend. Apparently, I just heard the story like third hand from him, so it's a little hard to tell.
Right.
But I thought it was funny enough to tell. So he's a little bit private with it, which is nothing wrong with that. I totally get where he's coming from. She, on the other hand, is very open about it. She's just like, yeah, you want to watch it together? Like, let's do it. Like,
She
she's
into the
just
kinky
like super
stuff,
open
the
to it.
BDSM
Yeah, like,
stuff.
what's-
No, I don't think she's not like weird. She's just
Well,
open
don't
about
say that's
what she's
weird.
into. Like,
What's her like go-to category if you had to guess?
I don't know. I don't know the people
We
involved.
should call
very
her
well.
sometime on the show and ask.
maybe I'll try and find out.
Yeah, we should get her on the phone.
Yeah.
This chick sounds like a cool chick.
But so apparently, like, yeah, so they've always had these conversations about how they're both like really open about it, but her boyfriend's not. So my buddy and her are both, they just talk about porn a lot, which is just funny enough on its own.
Yeah.
So then I guess for her birthday, he thought it was funny that he was watching porn at the time and sent her a Snapchat video of the porn he was watching, thinking it was like, oh, like this is kind of funny. Like, hopefully it's not too far, but
That
whatever.
could go
Yeah.
weird
Exactly.
really quick.
Was
When
this
I
the
first
boyfriend sending to his girlfriend or a
no,
friend
my
sending
buddy,
to the
my
other
buddy
person's?
sending it to his girlfriend, just a friend
Oh,
that is a
okay,
girl
okay.
who has a boyfriend.
Okay.
So he just sent
This
his
is
friend
risky.
that's a girl porn via Snapchat. Which he told me this, and I was like, "Why did you think that was a good idea?" But either way, I guess she sent him back a picture. She's like laying in bed. She was laughing. She thought it was hilarious. She's like, "Yeah, send me more, whatever. That's hilarious." So he's like, okay, like, happy birthday, and sends her a video of another video. And then at the end of the Snapchat video, he just moves his laptop and just took a picture of his dick. At the
No.
So at the end of this, like, Snapchat video, he just puts his dick in the end of it. And he sends it to her, and he told me this. He told me, I think it was yesterday morning, and he was freaking out for like however long it was. I think he said it was a
Oh
couple
my
minutes afterwards
God.
that she didn't respond. And he was just sitting there like, I probably shouldn't have done that. Like, what am I
Happy-
doing? He told me the caption of the picture or the video, sorry, was surprise, motherfucker. And he just hoped that she wouldn't like stop watching it because she knew something was coming or whatever. He was hoping that she would like watch the whole thing, and then apparently
You should just
after
be
waiting
lucky
like
that her boyfriend wasn't there.
yeah, I know. Like
That's shit.
I don't know what this guy was thinking, but after apparently 2 or 3 minutes, what felt like forever, I can imagine. She sent him back a picture, and she thought it was the funniest thing ever. Apparently, she was just like, I wasn't expecting that at all. That was the funniest non-sexual dick pic I've ever gotten.
Happy fucking birthday to her, huh?
Yeah.
That is fucked.
Apparently,
here's
it
some
was
porn, here's
totally
some porn.
fine.
Oh, dick.
If that happened to my girl, and that's something I don't know how I'd react. I'd be like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
who are you talking to?
I don't know the boyfriend or the girl very well. This is just my buddy's friend. Like, I know who she is, but, like, I don't know her that well.
Right.
So, it was funny to me, but I can only imagine how, like, the boyfriend, if he found out, or if he, like...
Oh, my
or
God.
if,
I'd
or
be
if
very
she...
uncomfortable
Or
with
if she,
that.
like, decided to show him, like, oh, look what this guy sent me, or whatever, like, as a joke. And then at the end, it's just his dick. Like, that's not cool.
That's funny that it worked out for this guy, though.
Yeah, like, apparently they're, like... She just made a joke about it, saying like, "Well, if they weren't best friends before, now."
How great would it have been if she like ironically sent him back a nude also and was like, look how funny this
that
is.
would be
I feel like-
inappropriate.
And he'd be like, screenshot.
Yeah.
So funny.
Like he didn't,
Jerk
he
off
didn't,
to it.
Weird.
like he didn't say anything, but I feel like that was his hope the whole time. Like I
you're
don't think
gonna
he would
send
admit
your
that.
dick,
You know what's
They're
funny? It's
hoping
kind
for
of funny
something.
that like girls can't do the same thing. They can't be like cheeky.
Haha, boo! Like, Happy birthday!
Just watching porn. Here's some boobs. Like it's not funny. It's just like that's cool.
Yeah. It's definitely still gonna be well received, but like
If you
it's not
got
funny.
if you would have gotten that Snapchat just out of the blue, just like some titties, you'd be like, okay, this isn't funny. Let's
yeah, I'd
let's
be
go
like,
fuck.
let's go. Like, what are we waiting for?
Dicks are just always funny.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about this before. How like the scale of funny to insulting gets like as you get lower. Like
Yeah.
dick is still funny, but like balls
Soon
are a
as
little
there's
bit more
balls, it's-
insulting.
And that still holds up. So
Taint is like super offensive, and your asshole is just the most.
So
insulting
what
thing you
about
can
frame
send
the
somebody.
picture of me for your buddy here? He was just shaft. He was head. What was he? Nut shot.
I mean, I didn't ask for too much detail. I thought I just took the story at face value, thought it was hilarious, moved on.
That's true.
I would imagine. Like I don't know. I don't know what to think. Like
Like if
Just
you're
in
sneak
that
the-
situation-
sneak the tip in the very bottom, just
Yeah.
the whole thing peeking
I think
out.
that would be the best way to go. If you're going for humor and not
Yeah.
like a sexual thing, just a little bit of the tip.
If you're showing any
the
more than
funniest
just
part.
like the teeniest bit of the tip, then then I think that's going a little far.
I think
It's
the-
not funny anymore.
Stare right down the hole of the tip. That's the funniest. That's the funniest part of the dick. Let's be
Peeking
honest.
down the
I think the
urethra.
funniest. Like I think I would have gone balls over shaft. If I was in that situation,
Yeah,
I think it's
maybe.
funnier and it's more of a surefire. Like even if she does take it the wrong way, you can't really take balls like sexually. Like it's not going to be one of those things that gets misconstrued. It's like,
Oh, those
hey,
some
these
nice
are my balls.
Nice fucking
that's
balls.
like the safe bet that I would make in that.
I don't know. That's still funny as fuck. That's weird, man. I don't know. Why would you, if you were like that girl's boyfriend, how would you guys react to that?
Oh, I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
That's why I told this guy like, don't tell anybody.
Because
It's like he's asking to get his nose broken.
I've sat down with my girlfriend before when she's received a Snapchat before, and we've both looked at it because like there's never any dicks in there, but you know, if there ever was one, it
Yes.
would be like, what the fuck is going on here? This is bizarre. Even though it could be like an inside joke, like just some sort of weird.
Yeah.
Sometimes just get like the
Thing.
random ones. Like I've had it before, or like I can't remember if we were dating yet, or I think we were. We just started dating and all that.
Me and
It was-
you, or
I only wish. But, no, me and my girl.
Ooh, hey now.
And she got a Snapchat, and it was just a bunch of naked dudes' dicks, and I'm like,
what?
What?
yeah. It's football. I'm like, I don't. She told me that. I'm like, what the fuck?
A bunch.
Like how many is a bunch?
Like a whole
Like, it was-
sequence, like
it
a
was-
minute and a half Snapchat.
I'm not
of
gonna
just
say
dicks?
what school and what football team was during training camp. So it's just a bunch of dudes
Oh.
naked everywhere. And
Wow.
it's because
There
of
was-
like I don't know. I was like, what the fuck? I didn't really like it too much. But
No, not at all.
Whatever.
There was one time where I like seriously questioned the sexuality of one of my friends one time when he sort of like went camping with some friends or something for a weekend one time, and we just sort of didn't hear from him for like a week or two. And then we go on Facebook one day, and there's just a picture of like 6 dudes totally naked like you know how like
What?
hands on each other's
What?
asses, like
Oh.
backs.
Oh, like what the girls do with the hands in the pockets?
yeah, except totally nude, just like hands on ass
And
cheek.
dudes.
And all
And all
guys, and
dudes.
this was on Facebook.
It's on Facebook.
What
yeah.
was this guy thinking? I would not want
I don't know.
anybody knowing that ever happened. I wouldn't want to do that.
He
But
wouldn't
do you
not do
want
it.
your
He just
mom-
wouldn't want people knowing
It
about
was one of those weird
Do you
things
want
where
your
it was
mom
like
seeing that? Like,
it was one of those weird things where it was like a bro thing, I guess, where it was like, you know, bonding
That's still
guys
weird.
hanging out, just fucking nude. Like there were girls there too that potentially could have been naked also, but the picture
but just the picture itself.
was pretty gay.
That would have made pretty awkward situation, even
Yeah.
in a couple seconds.
Yeah, what I heard is after the photo, the 6 dudes plus like, you know, 5 or 6 chicks all went skinny dipping down at the docks, but the picture was pretty gay.
Yeah,
Pretty gay.
That's pretty. You can't try and defend yourself
No,
with that picture.
Not that there's anything wrong with being gay, but you know, if he's going to try to tell me that he's a straight man after he's just touched 6 man ass.
And what were you thinking putting that on Facebook and letting everyone see that?
Well, to be fair, he was just tagged in it. He didn't post it.
Immediately
That's a little
delete
better.
the tag.
It's a little better. Yeah,
I don't know.
I think he since has deleted the tag, but yeah.
I think that's one of those things where, like, if I was tagged in that picture, like, your options are either delete it, like, get rid of it if you are embarrassed, or just embrace it.
Yeah.
Just be like, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not
depends on the
gay. I
person.
know that.
that's sort of his
Whatever.
approach. That was sort of his approach at the time.
Yeah.
He didn't really give a shit.
And
I
like,
mean-
who you have on Facebook matters too. Like personally, I don't know if I'd feel too comfortable with something like that, having family on
Right.
Facebook,
Like it could have been worse.
And,
Right?
like,
He could have been blowing the
in-laws
guys.
and all.
That
that's
was the next
just fucked.
picture. That was the next
Just a
picture.
bro weekend,
Yeah, that's
fingering
on-
each other's taints. No
That's
big
on
deal.
the phone. That's not in the album. That's just on the phone. Fuck, that's weird.
Oh Jesus Christ!
This show got weird fast.
This show always gets weird. Cyclone, though. What do you guys think? You like the name?
I like
I
the
do.
name.
It's
Give us some
okay.
feedback if anybody is listening or does ever listen years from now. If somebody stumbles upon this.
If we ever can have one loyal listener,
I'm telling
we
you,
will
Jen,
like, buy you something.
Jen B from Home Depot, Guelph, my coworker.
Shout out.
Yeah, I just said where I worked. Unfortunately, should have done that. Don't come visit me,
Speaking
you
of
crazy
dicks and
people.
balls, and hey, I work here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool to have people. We should get her to like Skype in or something one day and interview our one fan.
She told me once that she listens to it while she does the dishes, which I find funny. Hopefully, like,
That's an honor.
hopefully our kid doesn't walk in halfway through, like, yeah. So I was taking this dick pic the other day. Like,
That's funny.
To be honest, I like that because that means we're entertaining. If she's going to do that,
Yeah.
she'll be there doing her
She said
dishes
she
and
loves it.
laughing. Like
Yeah.
that's great news.
We should
actually, I have another buddy that I went to high school with too. That he told me that he started listening to them. So I think he's listening to everyone that we post. But
We should
Nice.
start dropping like random things into the podcast that would really mess with people when they're like doing like when she's doing the dishes. Just be like, "Boo!" See if she drops them.
We'll just be talking
like
out
from
of
now
nowhere,
on, like don't
Yeah.
bring it
someone
up. We'll just,
scream.
yeah.
we'll just like have a certain point where we all just go.
Yeah. She'll call you and be like, "I just cut my hand on my dishes, you bitch." Look
good idea.
behind you. Your son is choking on something. Oh no!
That just got dark.
Okay.
That got dark.
All right,
Just out of
moving on.
nowhere, like, mommy, mommy.
So last week we started doing something a little different. We started looking at like top lists and trying to predict.
Yeah, because they're all fucking.
They're all wrong.
They're all just. We disagree with so many of them.
There's only been one list I've ever really seen that I've agreed with the number one choice. It was for best drummers of all time, and it was Neil Peart. He was rated number one. And I can agree with that.
Is it
Neil
Peart
Peart's-
or Pert? I thought it
I've
was
heard
Pert.
both.
It's I believe it's pronounced Peart, but most people just say Pert because it's easier.
Peart's
I don't
easier.
listen to Rush anyway.
I'm not a
You don't listen to
diehard,
Rush?
so I just say
No.
I'm
Peart.
not a diehard. I appreciate
funny
Rush.
story. My high school, Rush performed at my high school like way back when they were first getting started. Got booed off stage.
Ooh,
Really?
Yeah,
that's funny.
funny as hell.
That's crazy. My
It's all on you, Alex.
let's see. My orthodontist went to high school with Geddy Lee and the first drummer for Rush.
Did he beat him up?
Yeah, he kicked the shit out of him. My orthodontist was the man. No.
You know what I mean? You don't meet too many like tough orthodontists, like
No,
like badass,
no.
dude, like tatted up, like
Yeah,
big
ex-biker.
beard.
Yeah. He's a pretty laid back guy, but good guy. Anyways, back to the lists thing. I think the one common ground that most of us can agree on to some degree is music.
Music's awesome.
Yeah.
We all have a decent taste in music, similar genres that we like. So I'm on right here, Rolling Stone's 500 greatest albums of all time.
I think I think there's a book that they put out. That
I think it might be.
believe I've read.
I've read this list before.
You've read the list before?
I can't remember exactly things, but there's a lot. Like,
Well, there
there's a
are
lot of-
500
I remember it's a lot of
them,
old.
so-
There's five. Yeah, I don't expect you to know all 500. I know that Rolling Stone has always been a big Bob Dylan like kiss ass. Like they're gonna
Yeah.
throw him number one on every list they can. I'm a huge like Dylan fan myself,
Yeah,
but I don't know.
but there's a lot of albums out there.
There's a lot. He's got a lot of stuff that I don't even think should be considered.
Yeah.
Anyways, do you guys have any ideas? I'm not gonna read all of them because there's 500 of them, but let's go to the top 50 maybe. From
Well,
the
there's
list.
going to be some Hendrix, Rolling Stones, Beatles.
Yeah, because they're all classic stuff.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. There's
Zeppelin
always
4 is
there's-
going to be up there.
Pink Floyd will be in there. I wouldn't be surprised if Metallica's
Holy
in there
shit.
at least once.
Do you guys want to guess what number? Okay, what do you think is going to be in the list for sure, and then guess what number you think it'll be.
Like within the whole 500? Or are we
No,
doing
no,
like
no.
top 50?
I'm in the top 50.
Nevermind by Nirvana.
You think that's going to be up there?
That's
What-
I think
Yeah.
What number do you think that's going to be?
definitely top 25. I can't remember. I know I've seen it on here before.
Well, don't go by memory. Go by intuition. Like if you could write this list, where would you put?
I'm putting
If I could have it-
2 Led Zeppelin albums in the top 50.
If I was writing a list, I'd have Nevermind near the very top. It would be top 5 of all
See,
time.
on my
And here,
personal list.
I'd say on this list, I'm gonna say it's around 14.
Okay, good call. On my personal list, I'd put Dark Side of the Moon a lot higher up. Sorry, like closer to 1. It's a fantastic album if you listen to it all the way through. Not a great album just to pull songs from, but if you're going to listen to the whole thing as a 45-minute piece, it's great. But they have it at 43 right here.
Wow.
So there's a lot of other stuff here that they've put in front of it. You were looking for. I should have looked at this list ahead of time.
Well, while he's looking and all that, like, if you ever would you like to give some input, like music and preferences? It's all each person's different.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to give your input on our thoughts and maybe your top 5 albums of all time, comment on our SoundCloud account and all that, and or on Facebook pages.
Yeah,
and
we
try and get a hold of us
usually
somehow.
share these on Facebook, so
Yeah.
give us some
I think
comments,
SoundCloud.com/Clone Podcast is where you can find
Should
us.
pull up
I
and,
believe
you
that's
can
what it
just
is.
comment on there and let us know.
Yeah. Number 34 here is the band Music from Big Pink. You guys might not know that album,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's actually one of my favorites that I've just pulled out of the old vinyl box recently. I've really gotten into the band for some reason.
Is the band Take a Load Off?
Yeah. Up
Take a
on
load off, and
Cripple Creek, the night they drove Dixie
Take a
down,
load for me.
Stage Fright. A lot of good songs from them.
Take a load for me? Really? Nobody ever questioned that lyric?
No,
Let's not get into that.
nobody did. Number 31, Bob Dylan, Bringing It All Back Home. That's potentially my favorite Dylan album.
Probably gonna be some Neil Young.
Oh, here we go.
there.
First Zeppelin album that I'm seeing here. Led Zeppelin 1, number 29. Okay, well, there's a lot of albums on here that are getting banged out that
There's
I already thought would have been.
Probably like 3 Beatles albums in there.
Let's see here.
Stop doing that.
Sorry.
Every show. Every show.
Holy shit.
You're the gassiest motherfucker.
Nirvana, Nevermind is number 17.
Oh, that's close.
pretty
You were
close.
close.
I was close.
You were pretty close. Ooh, Bob Dylan, Blood on the Track, 16.
See, I'm not I'm not a big Bob Dylan fan. I like Jacob Dylan, actually. I think he's quite talented in the Wallflowers.
I like the
feel they're
Wallflowers.
I've heard
underrated.
good things.
Yeah. Well, Rolling Stone is going to be a lot of Dylan, a lot of Hendrix, a lot of like classic stuff. But recently they've tried to like throw in some newer stuff. Like they put Kanye West really high up. They put
Kanye Twitty.
Kanye Twitty. That's right. The Beatles' Abbey Road is number 14. Not Nevermind. Velvet Underground, Miles Davis. Let's see here. Okay, number 10. This is the Beatles' White Album.
Yep.
Great album. Again, Bob Dylan, Blonde on Blonde, number 9. Oh, man. Rolling Stones' Exile on Main Street, number 7. Fucking fantastic album.
Yeah.
Marvin Gaye, What's Going On? Beatles, Rubber Soul. Highway 61, again, Bob Dylan. Number 3, what do you guys think number 3 is going to be?
Is it an older type thing, or is
Yep.
it something that we would...
Yep, 1966.
Ooh.
I don't even have a guess. Elvis? Something with Elvis? I don't know.
Elvis was like earlier 60s, late 50s.
I don't know any of these.
Was-
I'm not a fan of
Was
them,
Neil
so.
Young in that time? I can't even know. I honestly don't.
This is the Revolver by the Beatles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not a big Beatles fan. I don't know. I just personally don't
either.
really like them. Like,
Fuck Paul McCartney.
I give them their credit for being influential and definitely opening the road up. I'm just not a big fan.
Well, then
Yeah.
you guys are gonna hate the fuck out of this list. 'Cause number two,
Well, I already do.
number two is also from '66. This is Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys.
Oh yeah, amazing album.
Fucking fantastic. And number one, 1967, is Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band by the Beatles.
I'm not surprised at all.
Not surprised. That's very
I
typical of Rolling Stone.
yeah.
Playing it conservative.
So, if you guys could make your own list, where would you place the number one album of all time?
Oh, see this again. This all comes to like personal preference and all that. And
Number
We've
one
briefly
album
we've
of
briefly
all
talked about this before. I think we did like the best albums of the 2000s, but this is like all time now. If
I
you
don't
could
know-
take in everything
yeah.
into account,
we talking like our personal favorite or
yeah,
most like
yeah.
iconic?
No. Your
Like we don't have to like make justifications
this
for
is
why it
Eric's
is. It's just
list,
our
Wes's
favorite.
list of top 5 of all time.
Ooh, because
You don't have to
for
put them
me,
in-
I'm probably gonna have to.
No particular order.
Well,
5
I'm gonna have to
albums.
throw
Never
in Billy
mind.
Talent one in there somewhere.
Yeah,
Great album.
I agree with you though. Nevermind is probably at least.
Nevermind
number
is
5.
in top 5 for sure. For,
I'm-
for
yeah.
like my personal favorite and just for like iconic and like what they did for music.
Yeah.
I can give you 5, but I can't
Master
put
of
them off.
Puppets.
That's fine.
Like which order?
No
but,
particular order. 5 albums that are the
Yeah,
greatest of
let's
all
hear
time.
your 5. I want to think.
I'm definitely gonna have to throw Chuck by Sum 41 in there.
Good album.
Probably their last consistently good album too.
Okay.
Oh man, it's so hard. I would say, Punkin Drublick by NoFX.
Never heard that one, but
Great album.
worth looking into, I guess.
Oh,
You got any ideas for yours, or do you want?
Mine,
Do you
I
have a
tend to
pretty good
listen.
idea?
I tend to listen to a lot of older music, so like
Yeah.
not necessarily stuff that's come out in the last
ooh,
20
and
years.
might honestly, as
Well, I
much as I don't like listening to it as much anymore, I would probably put American Idiot by Green Day.
Good
just
album.
as an album because it was an album to listen to as a whole, and
It's
I don't
an
know,
album.
It was good.
It's yeah.
This is tough.
It's not something I would still probably listen to. Like occasionally, I'll go back to it, but
Mhm.
just I remember thinking at the time, like this is a work of art. Like it's great.
My top albums, like I could take any band pretty much from between 1965 till now that has like 2 or 3 that I would listen to on a regular basis. Like it's hard to come up with.
The Wall
the
for Pink
greatest.
Floyd is definitely in my list.
I would put that. It's up there for sure, but I'd put Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, and Animals by Pink Floyd. All 3 of those albums above it.
I'd put Elephant by the White Stripes.
Ooh, good one.
That was like the first White Stripes I ever heard.
Mhm.
I remember that was the first time I'd ever heard of them. My older brother, came home one day with the album, and he put it on, and my whole family, we just stood around and listened to the album, and it was just like that was like one of my big first influences with like rock music and stuff.
Mhm.
Just great album. I'd
What's your favorite album right now? Then, if we don't do a list, what's your favorite album?
right now? I'm kind of throwing it back to we were talking earlier. Songs for the Deaf by
Me too.
Queens of the Stone Age. That's
That's
probably my favorite
that's
album
like
right now.
actually that album and the first Foo Fighters album.
Yeah,
The first, pretty much the Dave Grohl show.
the Dave
Yeah.
Grohl project. Yeah,
yeah.
that-
Songs for the Deaf, though. If anybody's listening, never heard of Queens of the Stone Age, it's a
Good
shame. If you have, go back and just listen to that album as a whole. It's great. It was their third album, but it's what most people know of as their first.
it's their breakthrough
mainstream.
album
Yeah.
for sure. They had a couple singles off their second album, and their first album didn't really get a whole lot of commercial success. But Songs for the Deaf is it's probably in my top 5 favorite albums of like this century, like
Yeah.
2000.
It was huge for like weird kids. Like
Yeah.
if you weren't into like typical like mainstream sounding, form fitting, structured music, Queens of the Stone Age was the first like big band that brought like different kind of style to it, and they were heavy. They tuned down low. They were badass. It was just great tunes.
Eric, your favorite album right now? If you had to pick,
I'm probably just gonna play it safe. I'll probably say Billy Talent 1.
Okay, that's
Great
cool.
album. Great
Yeah,
album.
it came out strong, and it still holds up to this day. I just listened to it like maybe a month ago or so.
I listen to it all the time in my car. That's a tough question.
Yeah, it's a very personal choice. Well, we're coming up to the end of the show here. Eric, Wes, do you have any final words on what's happened this week, or anything you want to talk about next week? Maybe to look forward to.
I would just say, don't send unsolicited dick pics.
Right.
That's my biggest lesson.
That's
I've
a good
learned.
call. Well, unless the chick is down for it, and then you might get some sort of
Yeah, I
dick
mean, take risks,
reciprocation.
take leaps of faith, but try to keep
But
in
don't
mind.
actually jump off of buildings.
Yeah.
because that's what
I
do.
can't comment on that, but I'm taken. But subscribe, tell your friends about us, listen to us, let us know what you want to hear, and
If
maybe
you've made it, if you've made it to this point, we are soon to be on iTunes. Hopefully by next week we will be on iTunes. So
yeah, we'll
subscribe.
keep you updated on that and check us out. Yeah, I love the new name.
Yeah.
Cyclone Podcast.
Yeah.
I think we can actually stick to this. And
Yeah.
got some potential good ideas for next week, and we'll let you know what they are then. But
Absolutely. Well, thank you for tuning in this week. We will be back again next week, or whenever we feel like it, with another edition of Cyclone Podcast.
Take it sleazy.